YouTube. So I wanted to do my last college football playoff predictions video before I move into the official playoff predictions with the set 4 teams after this week. Actually, I'm not sure if the selection committee picks the college football playoff this week or after the Navy or Army-Navy game, but I guess we'll see. Alright, so start with my 4 outside. So at number 4, I've got Ohio State. Now, the 4 outside are just the 4 teams that are basically left as the only 4 that are alive outside of my top 4, still having a relative chance of getting into the playoff. So at 4, I've got Ohio State, 3 North Carolina, 2 Stanford, and 1 Iowa. And if I'm being honest, I don't think Ohio State and Stanford have too much of a chance. For Stanford to get in, it would take a lot. I think Clemson would have to lose, Alabama would have to lose. And even then, I think if you take Clemson and Alabama out, I don't know, then obviously North Carolina would be in. I don't know, they might be able to do it. We'll see. So, anyway, like I said, Ohio State at 4, North Carolina at 3, Stanford at 2, and Iowa at 1. So go through Ohio State. I don't know, it feels like they should be in the playoff with the way they played last week. The fact that they just slipped up one week, and I feel like they could beat really any team in the country right now. But you know what? They lost when it counted, and they kept them out of the playoff. Michigan State was able to come through the clutch win even without their starting quarterback. So obviously that's on Ohio State. Like I said, if Clemson and Alabama find a way to lose, then I think there might be able to have a chance of being 2 Big Ten teams in. I don't know. It'd probably come down to Stanford and Ohio State. But I'm assuming with the conference championship win, they'd probably put a 2-loss Stanford over a 1-loss Ohio State. It'd be close, though. So, North Carolina, I really think if they beat Clemson, they're in. If they lose, they're out. So they do have a chance to play in. They really do control their own destiny. Just with the selection of teams right now, if they beat Clemson, I think they should definitely be in. At number 2, Stanford, like I said, same deal as I just mentioned with Ohio State. There has to be a lot happening. I can't see Alabama losing, and if Clemson does lose, then I think that's North Carolina in over Stanford. It's slim, but, for a 2-loss season, taking a Pac-12 championship and a New Year's Six bowl away, that's still a pretty good season. The number 1, I've got Iowa, and I've mentioned this before. Iowa and Michigan State are both in a play-in game right now. If they can, if Iowa wins, they're obviously in. If they lose, they're out. It doesn't matter where they're ranked, whether they're ranked at 1 or they're ranked at 8. So, moving to the top 4. At 4, I've got Michigan State, and like I just said for Iowa, Michigan State loses the Big Ten championship, they're out. They win, they're in. Simple as that. Number 3, I've got Oklahoma. I think they're as much of a lock as really anyone right now, just because they don't have any more games to play this year. So many impressive victories to finish off the year. Beat TCU in a very close game without Baker Mayfield and Samaje Perine. Just destroyed a good Oklahoma State team, and then was able to beat Baylor and Waco. So even though they do have a loss to Texas at this point right now with the resume of the other teams, and just with Oklahoma's eye test right now and how hot they are, it's hard not to put them in, especially with the Big 12, or especially with the playoff selection committee not wanting to leave out the Big 12 this year after they left them out last year. All right, so number 2, I've got Alabama, and I think they're as big a favorites as really anyone in the conference championships this week. Florida just not playing well, not be able to do much on, or not being able to get much started on offense. And you know what? I think Alabama's defense is better than Florida's anyway. And then number 1, Clemson. So like I said, this is definitely going to be no cakewalk for Clemson this weekend. They both played South Carolina close, and they've both been playing really well this year, so I don't know, it's hard to say. It would have been cool to see North Carolina and Clemson play in the regular season, but that kind of would have defeated the purpose of this conference championship. This will be one of the genuinely most entertaining conference championships to watch this week. So those are my playoff predictions for Week 14, Conference Championship Week. And really, like I said, my last ones before I do the overall predictions for the top 4. And yeah, it's been a fun season predicting the playoff, and we'll see how it all plays out. I will do a video right before my actual predictions come out that show the teams that I picked in the top 4 most frequently and see how those actually ended up. And I think my playoff at the beginning of the year was Ohio State, Stanford, Baylor, and Auburn, and did not get a single one of those right. So, I mean, obviously it's not over yet. Ohio State and Stanford still have a tiny chance of getting in, but Baylor's done, and then Auburn just was a complete bust this year. So, like I said, I'll show what my predictions were most frequently. Obviously, they changed quite a bit during the season, but yeah, so that's pretty much it. See ya.